Guys, it's Tuesday, the day after Memorial Day. Twice a week I go into Atlanta, and this is what you find me doing now. My car clock says 5:25, a dark country road, danger up ahead. Many of you may be aware that I have been twittering back and forth with Evalion over the last 3 or 4 days. What I have, my personal opinion is that Evalion gives fairly legitimate answers to my questions and comes off as a real person. But as I sit back and think about this situation where she has all of a sudden started pushing this Stalinist ideology, I have to re-look at the believability of that being a natural evolution in Evalion's mental capacity, or if it's been something suggested to her by someone of influence. To what extent we can argue over that, if it is true or how much influence they have, what type of person that would be, if that person would be on the side of the enemy or if that person would be on the side of us. So when you're evaluating her change of outlook, what you also have to look at is what has gone on new in Evalion's life that wasn't there previously. And one thing that is new is that she is hooked up with and I wish I could remember, Strasser socialist. These folks de-emphasize Hitler. I'm having some problems with Strasserism because, number one, the most influential person in this Strasser movement apparently is this guy named Carrie Bolton. Carrie Bolton is a person being promoted in Wikipedia, and real dissent rarely gets put in Wikipedia, to my experience. Co-opted dissent does. And also the people that are publishing their works, in most cases, barely will let you hint at at the Jewish problem. Specifically Arctos Media, a publication house that's owned by Daniel Freeberg, who many claim is Jewish and is very rich, has multiple living quarters in various European cities. I've mentioned before the problems of the rich race leading the slave races. It's kind of like a dual Israeli citizen in the U.S. government. Who are they making decisions for, the U.S. or Israel? Well, when you have a very rich person, very influential in a slave race movement against the elites, one has to wonder if he has a loyalty conflict and who does he ultimately serve. So this is an automatic thing you should question whenever you hear a person of an extremely rich background supposedly rebelling against those people he comes from. It's normal to plant subversives within slave movements to keep them under control. So, Carrie Bolton is, Freeberg owns Arctos Media, and Jason Giorgiani is actually running Arctos Media. Jason Giorgiani is of Iranian descent, born in New York. His family moved there right after the Shah was dethroned. His family was close to the Shah. So Jason Giorgiani is a kid brought up with the notion that his rightful position in society has been usurped by Islamists. And he promotes a war with Islam as inevitable, as does basically, I believe the alt-right is promoting that while ignoring the Jew, while bringing female articulators on board that ignore the Jew and promote Islamophobia. So I have to connect Strasserism then with the alt-right movement in a subtle way, and Duginism, which the alt-right movement, much of it is tied in with Duginism, an intellectual that promotes this sort of fourth political worldview, which is just another form of Jewish liberalism, in my view, from what I've seen of it. So these people that Evalion has joined up with are Strasserites. Now, I look at their history, and there's not much there. 5 years ago, they created their YouTube page. There's like 3 or 4 videos from 2011 or 12 to 2016. And right about the time Evalion joins up with them, now their activity is increasing. Same with their webpage. Though they have 1 million links to various Strasserite views of the world, the webpage has no history at all in the Wayback Machine. What this probably, almost assuredly means, is this page was created the same time Evalion was brought in to help sell the Strasserite point of view. So I've mentioned this problem to Evalion, and she has yet to get back with me. However, I have been leaning towards Evalion being a much more legitimate purveyor of the resistance than, say, like a Sinead, who comes from the rich race, went to a kindergarten that charged $50,000 a year, has a multicultural history hanging on the laps of black faggots a few years ago as an adult, where she now pretends to defame WN faggots while sleeping with VK Clark behind the curtain any chance she can get. Brandon Martinez continues to promote this horrible psychology of demonizing false flag exposers and tying them to Islamic caliphates and shit. All the worse because Brandon Martinez has been a headline star in the false flag movement as recently as a year ago. I don't know. This is what you call Jewish chutzpah, where you literally just, with your bravado and your force of intellect, you try and intimidate anybody from realizing the obvious, that you are now promoting something you totally stood against a year ago. My class reunion was recently. I did not go because of my Jewish views. I went to a high school that was 33% Jewish. I did not want that to be an issue at the school reunion. This was the 50th anniversary. However, I did make contact with a friend named Buddy Bromling, and he seems to be somewhat aware of what's going on, and I'm exploring that. Again, I can't totally rule out the Richard Spencer Evalion connection, that there's collusion with the alt-right, even though she acts like she's not happy with Richard Spencer. Who knows? You offer all kinds of buffers to hide what you're really doing if you're an op. Evalion, I'm not saying you're an op. Evalion, I am saying there's still questions to be answered. I want to believe in you. You seem to be more real. You seem to come from you come from one of the 4 slave races, Evalion. The fact is, most of our leaders come from the rich race. That in and of itself is a problem, because it's these folks that enable other people, most likely also from the rich race in most cases, certainly screened for useful idiot status until they can teach them how to behave. No sense in going on